Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's edition of Contractor's Chatter. I am your host, Luciana Turner. Oh, it is an amazing, amazing morning. Oh, my goodness. I am streaming live on YouTube and LinkedIn as promised. Sometimes it takes lifing to make you do the things that you said you were going to do. We get comfortable in our dysfunctions, and then it makes it okay for us to not do the things we said we were going to do. Well, no, it's not okay. So I'm live, and I'm on YouTube, and I'm on LinkedIn. So, over here, we don't grow alone. We do not believe in growing alone over here. Excuse me. So, tag your friends or just let them know to catch this by the replay. Whew. I was just tagging a friend. There's just a few things going on. As you come into the room, say hello. And I like feedback. So if you have additional questions on anything that I'm saying, or you just have some commentary on something I'm saying, post it in the comments. So here we go. We are in the final week of the close of Q3 of the government fiscal year. As we know, the government runs on a fiscal year. And we are in week 3 of Q3, approaching Q4, the famous low-hanging fruit season. And the famed low-hanging fruit season. The famous, this is the time of the year every government agency has to spend or obligate whatever is left of its budget. So for those who are in the game, those who have done the work already, you know what to do. For those who are just getting into the game, I think it's bad coaching to tell you to go out there and act as like you have the groundwork to really take advantage of this season as though you're going to win a whole bunch of contracts. I think it's bad coaching to set you up for that. Because then you go out here as though you're going to win a whole lot of contracts. And then when you don't, you get frustrated. And then in your frustration, you don't understand the why. You don't understand why you didn't win. And that's because nobody is telling you why you didn't win. Low-hanging fruit season is easier for those, notice my language, it's easier for those who have already built the relationships. So it's easier for them to parlay an add-on to an existing contract, or to get those sole sources, or to get those additional contract works, because they've already built those relationships. So low-hanging fruit season for them It's truly just reaching up and grabbing the fruit that's low hanging. For you that is new to government contracting, low hanging fruit really means getting in there and planting a seed. Low hanging fruit means getting in there and having conversations. Now, you can turn those conversations into contracts. I'm not saying that you can't. I am not saying you cannot turn your fruit into dollars during this time because you're new. That's not what I'm saying. However, I am saying if you have no relationships, do not expect $1 million win in this period. Or if you're walking into this period with $1 million mindset, expect to put in $1 million work. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people talk about this low-hanging fruit season as though everybody is going to walk into it and walk out of it with $1 million, and that isn't the case. That is what I'm saying. I want you to have the proper mindset going in so that you're yielding a result, or your expected result is what you're getting. And a lot of people get frustrated with the process because, well, they said it's low hanging fruit. So why am I not reaping anything? Because it's not low hanging fruit for the reason you think it is. It's low hanging fruit because every agency has to obligate its funds. It's not low hanging fruit because they're just going to give you something because you walk through the door. We need to get that out of their mindset altogether. Nobody is giving anybody anything. It's just time for you as a new person in the government contracting space to start nurturing relationships and positioning yourself so that when Q1 come around, you can execute that $1 million strategy. Now, if you really wanted to take advantage of this low-hanging fruit season, you would have been laying this foundation during the beginning of all through Q3 so that you could have walked into this season and reaped some of the harvest. But if you just waited until this time, believing somebody was going to give you something, you just made your work harder. That's what I'm saying. So, with that properly said, every government contractor walking into Q4 of the government fiscal year should know their numbers. You should have been tracking them all year, but you should know your numbers against your budget. You had a projection for this year. You should know if you're on par for meeting that projection. So you know exactly what your strategic plan for the rest of the year is. You should take the next 8, you should take the rest of the day to say, because if you run your numbers today, you pretty much know if you're on track for meeting your numbers for the next 8 days. You pretty much know if you're going to meet your numbers for the first half of the year. With that said, for the next 8 days, you have in your power to create a strategic plan to knock the rest of this year out. And if you're sitting in a place where you feel like you don't, I want you to take a seat in a new place. I'm giving you a bit of empowerment this morning. I'm giving you a bit of a reframe. I'm giving you a bit of repurposing this morning because sometimes that's all you need. You need somebody to tell you you can do it. Because we started January off with yes, I can, and we're in June, getting ready to go into July, and you feel like you can't. Yes, you can. Well, I'm going to start next year. No, you still have a whole 6 months to go. Take the time, reframe, reposition, and get going. I'm going to say it again. Reframe, reposition, and get going. Run your numbers. See where you are. See, because if you can't get where you're going if you don't know where you are. See where you are. See where you need to get to. And then go. And if you need help, get on my calendar. Because you can't get anywhere without a plan. A plan is a roadmap. And if you don't have a budget, if you started this year without a budget, without a strategic plan, it isn't too late to create one for the rest of this year and next year. Reframe, reposition, retarget, and get going. So if you're sitting in a place where you feel as though you haven't done what you wanted to do, getting a new place. Reframe, reposition, repurpose. That's what I want you to do. If you're talking to someone who is telling you you haven't done it and you can't, talk to new people. If you're sitting around people who are saying, woe is me, we've all had that point where we wanted to blow off some steam, but if you're seeing a pattern of constantly complaining, I want you to get in a new room, because negativity feeds negativity. You get what you water. If you water weeds, guess what you're going to get? Weeds. But if you water some crops of some potatoes and some vegetables, that's what you get. And guess what? Everybody wants to talk about how durable bamboo is, but do you know how long a bamboo tree takes to grow? I was actually shocked when I looked this up. It takes a long time for a bamboo tree to grow. And what I realized is different trees grow at different paces. So just because it took you longer to sprout roots and grow, you may be a mighty sequoia. It took you a long time to get your roots in the ground and to sprout and to grow, but you may be here, but you'll be here for 1,000 years. They'll be driving roads through you and looking up at you in awe for hundreds and hundreds of years. Come on now. Reframe, reposition, and move forward. And with that, I'm going to move on to a little bit of legislation today. Now, as we know, they're doing a lot. The Senate and the House are doing a lot with the upcoming budget. Why they haven't done it already? Who knows? We're not going to touch on that. But we do have a presidential election coming up. And we have the Fed now going into place starting in July. So, of course, the Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee is meeting today, talking about a policy report that's being issued before Congress. And I believe that hearing is at 11 o'clock. I don't know why I didn't write down that time. So you might want to just pop on to hear that report, to see what they're reporting to Congress today, to get that bit of an update. there's a House hearing on the oversight of the SEC. Now, those of us who are operating in the finance space may want to peek in on that hearing, because what affects the SEC affects us. So we may want to keep our ears to the ground, our eyes open to see what's going on with the oversight of the SEC and what's going on with that hearing. Now, the House Appropriations Committee Subcommittee on Financial Services is meeting on the 2024 Financial Services appropriations. There's going to be a lot of appropriations committee meetings going on between now and next month, excuse me, as they finalize the FY 2024 appropriations bill. Excuse me. As we finalize they finalized the appropriations bill. There are going to be some open committee meetings. There's going to be some closed doors meetings. The closed doors meetings are very important. The open meetings, of course, we need to pay attention to, but those closed doors meetings, I just wish I could be a fly on the wall of those meetings. A lot of important wheeling and dealing go on in those meetings. We need to pay attention to what is said and what is implied in the press conferences. As business owners, our political leanings are important to us personally, and I will never tell anybody to disregard those. However, what I will tell you is to not lean so much into political dogma and to analyze what's going on more from or try to strip away the political dogma. To really try to focus on the meat and potatoes without getting caught up in the Democrat-Republican. But really just strip it down to what are the bare bones of it all. And when you go from that, then you kind of get a different perspective on a lot of things. And I say that because when I started doing that, it takes away, it helps strips away biases. It helps you analyze a lot of the things that are going on in a way that takes the mud out, that takes some of the mud out of the water. Now, a lot of us haven't gotten to that point yet. I have friends that still boil everything down to Democrat, Republican. And what I challenge them to do, and they get mad at me for doing it, is stop viewing everything from these polarized positions and just really, what are the issues? What is being said about the issues, and stop pre-coloring everything. Because a lot of times we miss messages because we pre-color. And as business owners, we can't afford that. Our livelihoods are resting on this. If we have staff, their livelihoods are resting on it. And our votes actually count twice. We're voting from a personal perspective, but we're also voting from the perspective of each vote is affecting how our businesses operate. And our businesses impact our families, our employees' families, and our communities. So keep that in mind as we go to the polls and we're paying attention to what's going on in our local elections as well as our national elections. I'm not telling you what to vote. That's not my place. I'm not telling you to be a Democrat or a Republican. That's not my place. Don't ask me what I am, because that's not your business. I'm telling you to weed through the muck and to really hone in and just focus in on what the issues are, how they affect your life, your business, and the people around you. And don't be so hyper focused on headlines until you push potential business partners, life partners, people that can positively impact the community and impact your business out of your life over perception. Conversations go a long way. And with that, I'm inviting you to join me on tomorrow morning as we wrap up the week for another edition of Contractors Chatter. I am your host, Luciana Turner. Have an amazing, amazing day. And I will see you on tomorrow for Announcements Friday. Because I have a string of announcements for you. I will have a little more Contractors Chatter. Have an amazing, amazing day.